Hello, everyone. My name is Barbara Santen, and I am a dating and relationship coach, and I'm the host of the show Attracting Your Soulmate. And today we have Kim Von Berg. Hi, Kim.
Hi, I'd
And
love to be
she,
here.
great. I'm so excited to have you. I can't wait to pick your brain. Um, Kim is an amazing relationship expert and love coach, and she specializes in healthy romantic partnerships, which I love and is also my thing. As an authority in love and empowered relationships, Kim is a sought after speaker, trainer, counselor, and coach who assists clients toward a life of fulfilling love and relationships. For over 20 years, Kim has been unwavering in her commitment to help singles and couples experience the greatest of love possible. And her business, Thriving Loving Relationships, has been flourishing since 1997. She is recognized for her unparalleled approach to love and communication skills and her transformative process that results in relationships becoming the greatest catalyst for personal growth and experience of genuine happiness. I love that. In addition, Kim is a Calling in the One certified coach, having personally mentored and trained with the best-selling author Catherine Woodward Thomas. Kim masterfully guides singles through her private Calling in the One program to help them break up old patterns and that have kept healthy love at bay and show them how to step into being magnetic to happy, long lasting love. Kim has a master's degree in humanistic psychology, is a certified coach with the International Coach Federation, holds a California secondary teaching credential, as well as certification as a neurolinguistic programming practitioner. Wow, you have quite the resume there. Um, and she gained her notoriety 20 years ago as a communication specialist, the skill of which she still weaves throughout all of her coaching and counseling. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you for having me. I feel
Yeah.
very honored to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on the show. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to dive right in. So we do very similar work, and I love talking to coaches that do similar work because I always learn more. And what is the one thing that you teach your single clients that helps them attract love or helps them attract different kind of love than
I'm assuming like healthier love than maybe from previous experience.
yeah, well, I mean, hopefully you're helping them have a healthy love. I hope.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Um,
exactly what I mean.
okay, well, that could be a very involved response, so I'll do my best to be, keep it brief.
Okay, we
Because
have
what you're
time.
asking really is what I believe in is the
The whole
seven-step
thing.
calling in the one process.
Fine.
And what it is first of all, identifying what might be negative patterns in the past in the realm of love, and then being able to kind of look at what had been our part in creating that, because it's easy to kind of blame somebody else or blame circumstances or my upbringing or whatever it is. But a lot of times we don't see our power in changing that. So
Mm,
there's a process of being able to see that we actually have a power to turn that around. But first of all, to be able to identify what the pattern is, and then to see our part in it, because we are the source of our experience. It's
right.
hard to grasp that. And this isn't like a blameful thing. This isn't like,
Yes.
oh, you're messed up and, you just keep creating problems. It's not about that, because really this is an empowering thing to see that we are amazing beings and we are powerful beings and powerful creators.
And that the
So
power is in you to make a change from that old pattern that you've been
absolutely.
sort of unconsciously running by. So it's a
Absolutely.
powerful thing, empowered. It's not this like, oh, now I have to, right? Now it's my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's not about that at all.
Right.
And because let's just face it, this is kind of human nature. We don't see our part. it's very hard. A lot of times it's very hard to identify what we can do about things. So this isn't about the blame game at all. Um,
Right.
yeah.
It's
And what it,
getting help seeing your blind spots.
yes. And really what change, okay, so this can sound a little bit like new age, like law of attraction and things like that, but it's a little, I think this goes a little deeper than most of those programs, in that what we're doing in this work is to see what we may have been believing about who we are. For example, if you had, let's say, I don't know, there's a lot of examples where, let's say you had a lot of neglect in your childhood, so you might have actually assumed we always assume it's because of ourselves at a young age, so we might have assumed that I'm unlovable, for example.
Right.
So that's an example. There's many other. And so then from there, in love and in adult relationships, we attract people knowing this, believing this about ourselves unconsciously,
Right.
people that will keep reinforcing that we're unlovable,
Right.
right? So it's going in and decide, really getting what did we believe about ourselves, and that it's not true, and
Right.
that we can turn around. We are lovable. I mean,
Yeah.
so you get that. There's many other examples.
Yeah.
I'm alone. I'm unworthy. I'm whatever it is, and as an identity in love. I'm specifically talking about love and relation and intimacy.
Yes, absolutely. I love that because I did the book twice myself, like with exercises and everything. And those exercises, they're not. Did we already talk about the book? Calling
No,
it one? Okay, so
no.
I'm totally, oh my gosh. So what I'm talking about is this amazing book by Catherine Woodward Thomas, who I mentioned in Kim's bio, called Calling in the One.
Uh-huh.
And Kim is a certified coach in this. And so this is the book I'm talking about, just to fill in the blanks. So what I love about the work of that book specifically,
Right,
I know that you do your own thing as well, and you use the book as a tool. I
right,
totally get that. But what I really loved is those exercises really in the moment got me clarity. It wasn't some abstract, weird psychological analysis and I'm left like not understanding. It made
right.
it so clear, like, oh my gosh, this pattern came from my mother, this pattern came from my father, or the lack of father that I had, or whatever. And so
Yeah.
it actually, for me, it actually really helped me get really clear on what it was that I was, like you're saying, like what I was projecting into relationships and continuing over and over to repeat.
Recreate. Yeah, exactly.
And when I took
Yeah.
it conscious, almost immediately was able to make a vision for what I did want, and I created that.
Yay.
Yeah. So for me,
Well,
that's
let me just
big.
speak to that a little bit of what you're saying. So the book is phenomenal. And before I met Catherine, I was teaching in my local community, because I've been a relationship coach and in the realm of helping relationships for almost 25 years now.
Right.
So, and I used to use that book kind of in my church settings and this and that. But when I worked with Catherine, what I realized is that she's taken the work even beyond. She's even talked about rewriting the book, but she has other projects going on. But so the book is like the groundwork, but she's deepened the work a lot more. And she's like, she takes certain concepts and shows you how do you actually do this somatically. Like
Right.
how do you make this transformation instead of it's great to read it. You need that initially,
Yeah.
but then what do you do to really, really incorporate this in
Embody it.
who you are? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there are some exercises in there too. I did every single thing.
Oh, good for
That book,
you.
like every
Yay.
single thing. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. Uh,
Yay.
my sister has it right now. Otherwise, I'd be leafing through it. Okay.
But
So,
just know she's got deeper work now, because she wrote that and she published that in 2004. And
yes.
she's been like really in the trenches teaching this and working with coaches. She's got I think
Yes.
150 of us or something. And so the work has gone deeper than the book, but the book's still phenomenal.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. And so I bet you do some of that deep work with your clients. So
Oh,
what,
absolutely.
right. So what I want to
Yeah.
know is what so the reason I call this attract your soulmate, not go find him or her,
Right.
is because it's that inner shift that has to happen. And you already touched on it in terms of old patterns and all those things. But what would you say is, I don't need you to pick one, but like, what is like, what are your top, couple of things that are fundamental in shifting for mostly for women, but there might be some men watching as well, shifting that point of attraction so that they're no longer attracting that same old pattern, their dad or their mom or their whatever, that same guy over and over in a different body.
Right.
What are you teaching them to shift, and how does that attract something new?
Well, I kind of touched on it a moment ago, but I'll explore it a little bit more. It's really about going inside once you identify the pattern, and it's like the road in to discover this is the pain of what you don't want anymore. Like the
Right.
pain of like, I don't want this, like Groundhog Day. I keep attracting the alcoholic, or I keep
That's
attracting the
right.
narcissist, or I keep whatever it is. So going inside and tapping into the pain, and the pain will guide you. There's some processes to discover what is that very core love identity, false, it's always false, that we've been operating from. And then, as Catherine says, remove that splinter from your soul. It's like you remove it by discovering what's really true. And then here's the key part, because this isn't just about affirmations like, oh, I'm lovable,
Right.
plaster yellow tabs everywhere.
Right.
But which is good, that's a start. But then it's about looking at, okay, what have we been doing, even in our thoughts, not just our behaviors, but behaviors too, but our thoughts, our attitudes, our automatic assumptions in dating or other relationships. We also look at our other relationships too, because a lot of times patterns show up there too. And then what are we doing to reinforce that false identity in our behaviors and our attitudes and our thoughts and everything? And then what are the new behaviors? And sometimes this is also about new skills, because
Yes.
if we were operating from a place, let's say it was, I'm alone, I'll always be alone. Let's say that's the false love identity. Well, you're not going to develop, let's say, deep capacities for communication skills to deepen a relationship, like to set boundaries and things like, because if you think you're always going to be alone, then the moment there's a problem, you're like, oh, it didn't work, I'm out of here.
And the first nice person that comes along, you grip onto because you think you'll never find someone else because you're always going to be alone, and this is my one chance.
You're right.
So you settle.
Absolutely.
Right, that's the
Yeah.
other side of that. And so,
Yes.
and a lot of my clients do this, is they cling on to the first nice man. Most of my clients are women, that heterosexual women, I should clarify. The first nice man that literally like smiles at them.
Yes.
And I'm like, have
Yes.
you visioned what you want? Yes, he has to be tall, he has to be, no. Like, have you actually felt and made a vision in your mind of what it is you want your daily life to feel like with this potential person? And no one
Yes.
has, because that's why they I mean, that's we're never taught that in school, visioning and
Well, the
writing.
other thing we don't know is what is a healthy relate. A lot of people that I work with,
True.
and couples too, they don't really know, well, what are we going for? you know, so I part of what I feel is my profession is being a teacher, because it's like giving people the sense of what is a healthy, what would make it thrive, what
Right.
would it look like if it were thriving. But I want to mention another thing, because if you find a lot of your clients, or a number of them, are just clomping onto the person, the first person who's nice. Or I really sense another area to explore is attachment styles, because if and this is kind of dovetails into what I was talking about earlier, because if you're operating from a false love identity, it also relates to how your attachment style. So if you have an insecure or an anxious attachment style,
Right.
you tend to get in, attached to someone too quickly without really knowing their character, not pacing yourself to get to know someone.
Right.
Because you really have to pace yourself in dating, because it
Yes.
just, and I know I had this too. I had to work on it because I'm a widow. My spouse passed away in 2008, and I had been with my spouse for 20 years. And then, I was dating in my 50s. And so it was all this, I broke all the rules that I teach, got involved too fast. I did all, but it was like, I'm looking back now and I think, oh, it was really good for me, because I've doubled my library, and I know what a narcissist
Right.
is, and I know, yeah.
You learned from it. And now you
Yeah.
can teach this really confidently because you've been in all those places.
Yeah, but the whole thing about I tended to get involved or attached too fast. I had tended to hop in the sack too fast, and that, especially for women, like part of our brain goes away once you start getting sexual. You don't know how, you can't see the red flags as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're
Absolutely.
subtle, but most people really do show you who they are if you're
If
paying
you
attention.
if you're paying attention, if your eyes are open, and
Yeah.
this is exactly, I love what you just said about pacing yourself. And this is
Yeah.
why I have a model that I teach called abundance dating, where I have women date a bunch of men at the same time, always.
Oh, wow.
They can never be dating one man at a time because
Wow.
they until they become exclusive with that person. I'm
Right.
not saying forever, and I'm also not saying sleep with all of them, right? Like
Yeah.
there's some, things that the person chooses to do themselves. They're allowed to sleep with all of them. I also am not the judge, jury, and but
Yes.
but dating around doesn't mean sleeping around. So that's why I get these women, especially these women that have these early attachments, and these, uh, quick to see all the green and never see the red flags. I
Yeah.
get them to date a bunch of people at the same time because they have this abundance mentality. They're like, yeah,
Yes.
this man is really good looking. This man is super nice. He is amazing on dates. He's a great kisser. But there's a fundamental thing that is just a non-negotiable for me that I can't live with. And instead of
Right.
latching onto him anyway, they're like, wow, I have 4 other dates this week.
Oh, that's smart.
I don't
Yeah, that's
have to
great.
grip onto this one. I can still continue dating this one and explore um, what I am looking for in a man by dating him,
Yes.
not exploring if he's good enough or if he's going to be the one, or imagining a ring on your finger. Like, no, I make the focus on them.
Yes.
Go
That's
on the date.
great.
Yeah.
That's really great you do that.
So this is
Yeah.
exactly why, so that they end up being forced to pace themselves because, no, John, I can't see you tomorrow. I have another date. Right?
Yes.
I mean, they don't
That's
even have to share that, but in their head,
yeah.
they're like, sorry, John, I'm busy tomorrow. And they're like, I have another date. Right?
Yeah.
So they're not feeling that lack and that grippiness. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's what I do for that.
That's great. Great.
Okay, so there are a lot of women, especially the people that are going to be watching, that think, they feel it's so hard to believe that they too can find love. Here we are, Kim and I talking about love and how, you just have to do this, you just have to fix your patterns, you just have to vision. They're like, yeah, but not me. I'm the only one that's not going to find love. Can you speak to that? How yes, everybody can also have success in love?
Yeah. Everybody can. And I've even, even people with challenges. Right now I have someone who's autistic, like I think everyone can find love. And so I think when there's that despair, it feels like despair if somebody's coming from that place, and
Right.
it's totally natural, especially if you've had a series of a lot of, let's face it, dating can be hard, you know? I mean, it
Yeah.
can be, finding a job is a piece of cake, you know
Sure.
what I mean? You know,
Totally.
because if you have one disappointment after that, it would be easy to go there in a sense of despair. So
Yeah.
what I usually do, because I do a lot of, from my NLP background, we call it part psychology.
Uh-huh.
And so there's the sense that we have different parts to us. And usually if you're in a sense of just total despair, like it's never going to happen for me, or those kinds of feelings, um, I usually help people through teaching them how they can connect. It's usually coming from a younger part of them when they're feeling those deep feelings,
Uh-huh.
and to be able to like contain those feelings and be there for that younger part,
Yeah.
and then discover, where does this originate, because a lot of times it doesn't originate with present circumstances.
Right. Or even a past partner. It's usually from
Yeah,
childhood.
yeah.
Right.
And then to be able to nurture that part and just, let them know, I first of all, don't make them wrong for feeling those feelings, because every feeling, there's nothing wrong with any feeling, even anger, but it's to be a container, and then to maybe mentor that part, because let's face it, we have to just keep going, because we will find love, and healthy, beautiful love.
It's interesting that you're saying be with that part of you, because I remember that, between partners when I was single this last time, and I wanted to do it differently once and for all. And I mean, I've been a relationship coach for a few years, and I've been in counseling for decades, and I've just really, I was a midwife before. I don't know if
Oh,
you've heard
wow.
that about me, but I saw so many couples struggle in their relationships as they had a baby, that my own relationship struggles plus that created what I do today. Uh,
Yes.
but anyways, I'm digressing. Um, the sitting with yourself, honest to goodness, if nothing else, if the audience takes nothing else away but this, and you can do this without reading a book, without hiring a coach, without going to counseling, this is just totally free, right? Like, and easy. All you have to do is literally acknowledge what you're feeling. And I had many days where I would be sobbing on the couch alone at home,
Yeah,
and that sounds like a really sad scene, but it was the deepest healing I've ever done.
because
Because
you allowed yourself the space to do
yes,
that.
and I just
Yeah,
sat with myself, and I wasn't like, oh, Barbara, you're so dumb, stop crying.
yeah,
I was saying, oh my goodness, what else? What else are you
yeah.
sad about? And I'd be like, I'm sad about this, like ugly crying, but just with myself, and like
Yeah,
sometimes even literally holding myself. And it's
yes.
so transformative.
Yeah, just to
Really,
be there. I mean, when you think
yeah.
about, like, what if you had your best friend come and she was doing that? Would you say, oh, snap out of it, you whatever, like you wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
I mean, you would just
Exactly.
be, well, hopefully you wouldn't do that. I don't know that, because there's certain people that do that, but I
Well,
certainly,
we get what you're saying. My best friend and I wouldn't do that to each other. Yeah.
you would just like be there for her, right?
Mhm.
I mean, so some of this thing, you can almost think of it as like, what if you lost a family or a loved one or something? It can go that deep as far as the pain and sorrow. So you
Yes.
don't know what all this is connected to. So you don't want to make yourself wrong at all. Just be
No.
there. I mean,
And
I don't know how much time you have, but I can give you a kind of an example of sort of a process to do it relatively quickly to tap into that part.
well,
But
I mean, we're
yeah.
we're almost at time, but we can
Yeah,
go
okay.
over if it's
No,
like
it's
five
cool.
or
It's
ten
cool.
minutes. Now
But
we want to know.
yeah. So you want me to?
Sure. I mean,
Okay,
nothing
I'm
takes
gonna do
30 minutes,
a
right?
brief form. Yeah.
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 Great. I'd love to.
Yeah,
Now,
I won't do the whole
okay, sounds good. And they
yeah.
can contact you for more if they want more.
Okay. All right. Okay, so what you want to do is close your eyes, and I'm going to close my eyes. and take into some deep breaths, and and we're assuming you have some strong feelings coming up. And so you're going to go ahead and just feel the energy of life flowing through your whole body, and you invite any parts of you that are tense to be released. So you're connecting with your body. And then you go ahead and first of all, tap into the strength and power of who you are in this moment. That wise, resilient, intelligent, amazing being that has gotten you here to this moment in your life. Who's been having some pain. So you're going to allow that part to go ahead and be present and feel into the pain. And you might even locate where that is located the strongest in your body. If it's in a lot of people, it's your gut or it's your heart. You might even put a hand on that part and just send love to that part. And now you just ask this loving younger part who's in a lot of pain, what are you feeling? And this resilient, wise part is receiving. She gets to say whatever she's feeling, and you're just going to mirror back. Sweetheart, I hear that you're feeling despair. Sweetheart, I hear that whatever is coming up, you mirror it right back. Just maybe I want to give up. I'm overwhelmed. And so, sweetheart, you're feeling overwhelmed. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to say you would repeat this normally for probably 4 or 5 times. You just say, sweetheart, what are you feeling? Is there anything else? Is there anything else? You would keep on with that. And then you would shift and say, sweetheart, I'm wondering if there's anything you need right now. And so you would ask her, what do you need? Because a lot of times it's just, I need a hug. I haven't been touched for a week. Or it might just be, I'm sick of this dating thing. I just need a break. Just so you hear the need. You don't necessarily respond if you're going to do it, but you just receive, what does she need? And you would ask that normally if we were doing like a whole session here, you'd ask that probably 4 or 5 times. Is there anything else you might need? And then you shift into having kind of a dialogue of what you might be able to do to help her meet these needs. You may not be able to do it right away. Maybe you have a full-time job or you have other commitments, but you would figure out a way to meet some of these needs. And then, you might even find a way at the end of this exercise to maybe mentor this younger part. Like if this is coming from a place of thinking she's unlovable, you might say, sweetheart, you are so lovable and I love you. Or if it's coming from a place of I'm damaged goods, this is never gonna, everyone just rejects me. It might be, sweetheart, there's nothing wrong with you. I see how whole and complete you are. So the end of it might be a kind of a dialogue of addressing false beliefs and reminding her of the truth. And then you can go ahead and open your eyes. And that's the end of it. Like I said, I rushed it because I know, yeah.
Thank
But
you.
you get the steps of it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
you're reflecting feelings, you're reflecting needs,
Right.
and then you're doing some negotiating, meeting the needs, and then addressing false beliefs and what's really true.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's great. I feel like so much calmer already just doing it sort of not fully, right? I wasn't out
Yeah.
saying it, but I was kind of doing it. So yeah, I mean, I'm not in a despair place at all, but it still helps.
Yeah.
anytime. So for anyone watching, and you know, you can do this anytime. You don't have to be in total despair to do it, but it
Yes.
does help you get out
It
because
could be with anger too, or other
right,
type of feelings.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the and I learned this too, not in the same way, but and I love this, is to figure out what you need and then give it to yourself.
Yes.
It's so powerful. And then
Yes.
people that aren't haven't done it yet or aren't that ready yet, they're like, what if I need touch? You can like hug yourself.
You can hug
That's
yourself.
neurologically
Well, you can get a massage, or you can
right.
hang out with friends that love to hug, or there's other things.
Right, right. But I mean, in the moment when you're alone,
Yes.
right? But there are like, I mean, almost everything you expect from a partner or you want from a partner, you can do yourself, even sex.
Yes, even sex.
So, right? So I love that exercise because it grows your empowerment. It really strengthens that muscle of being self-sufficient and independent, but not to the point where you're like, oh, I don't need a partner. Like I don't mean that.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. Well, the other thing that's wonderful about that process, and I have a bunch of other ones, is we need to develop our relationship with ourself,
Right.
right? So a lot of times, if people complain, I don't know why I never have intimacy or deep connection, even he only wants sex or this and that. But a lot of times it's because we haven't really figured out a way to deeply connect with ourselves.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
That's and like you're saying, I mean, that's in a relationship. So just because if you're single and then you meet a man or a woman, depending on where you're at, a person, a partner, doesn't mean you don't need that skill in a relationship, right? What if your partner's
Right.
not available? What if you want sex and they don't? What if they're traveling for work or you're traveling for work or what if you're
Right,
whatever?
exactly. Yes.
You need to have the skills to soothe yourself and to be okay not instantly getting from the other person.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
yeah. Amazing. Kim, you're amazing. Can you
Thank you.
share with us the freebie that you are sharing with our audience? Can you talk
Yes.
about that?
Yeah, okay, so it's sort of related to what we were just
Oh,
doing
amazing.
because I really, really believe that the foundation of being able to attract a healthy mate, and when I say healthy, I mean not necessarily physically fit. Well, that'd be nice too, but
Yeah,
but more emotional health, psychically healthy, spiritually healthy, all levels of health.
right.
So to be able to attract somebody of that caliber, it comes from self-love. So my free gift is an exploration. It's like a mini little workshop. It's basically a talk. You get the audio MP3 for a talk on what is self-love, because it's beyond self-esteem. So I explore
Right.
that, and also what you can do to develop it
So
and the
great.
inner work. And then there's a little self-assessment of how healthy your self-love is.
Ooh, I love
So
that. I'm gonna go take it.
yeah, yeah. So
Amazing. Well, thank you, Kim. You have been nothing but a well of wisdom. So thank you very much for
thank
coming on the
you. This
show
has
and
been
your
a lot of
story.
fun to hang out with you. And I
Oh,
love what you're
so
doing. I love that you're doing the show.
thank
That's
you.
fantastic.
I'm
Yeah.
having a lot of fun meeting cool people like you. So it's very beautiful. So the link for Kim's gift will be in this email. These videos are coming by email. So thank you, Kim, so much. It was such a huge pleasure to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you to the audience for watching. As you know, there are many, many more amazing interviews to come. And I can't wait to see you there. So bye for now.
Bye-bye.